Greetings of the day from CA Dr. Rajkumar Adukia. Today I will be discussing opportunities for chartered accountants in corporate governance. Now this subject has been from the time when the business started, and this will be there, this subject will be there till business will be there on this planet. So we find mention of this in Kautilya's Arthashastra, and corporate governance is a subject in the domain of management. And when we say corporate governance, it means good management. And corporate word is also misnomer, because good management applies in a cooperative society, good management applies in a sole proprietorship, in LLP, in NGOs. So corporate governance can be there in all types of enterprises. Now, what is good management? Good management means in the top management, there are independent persons. So that is one fulcrum foundation. The second is that there are different committees, audit committee, risk management committee. Third is there is a transparency. There is a flow of information from one segment to another segment. And fourth is that there is a strong internal control. Fifth, there is a strong risk management, and there is an internal audit, whistleblower policy. This we can say they are pillars of corporate governance. So corporate governance, took a lead in the whole world through the Adrian Committee report, Adrian Cadbury Committee report on corporate governance. And then in India also, we had a corporate governance first. CII took the initiative that there is a corporate governance, voluntarily corporate governance. And then we saw in at that point of time, Bombay Stock Exchange had a agreement which is called listing agreement, and which was adopted by even SEBI, other stock exchanges like NSE. So in clause 49 of the listing agreement, SEBI for the first time introduced corporate governance provisions, and it was like there should be board of directors, which is mix of dependent and independent directors. There are committees. There is an independent audit committee. That means the chairman of the audit committee is an independent director. There is a risk management. There are 2 certificates given by CEO, certified, the Chief Executive Officer, and CFO, that they have reviewed the internal control of the whole enterprise. And there are fraud prevention measures, and there is no fraud. And then there were optional measures like whistleblower policy and things like that. And this clause 49 kept on getting revised through various committees at various stages. First it was Kumar Mangalam Birla Committee, and then other committees were there. And 2015, the whole corporate governance requirements got replaced by separate regulations called LODR, listing obligations and disclosure requirements. Now, in our country, we started having the regulators who are industry specific and who are segment specific, like SEBI governs listed companies. Then we have IRDA, which governs insurance companies. We have PFRDA, which governs pension funds. We have Airport Economic Regulatory Authority, which governs the aviation industry. We have a petroleum industry regulator. We have a competition commission, which governs the combinations and acquisitions. And we have a Department of Public Enterprises, which governs public sector undertakings. So all these regulators, they started making corporate governance framework because like insurance companies, they were not listed, but they had a large public interest. Similarly, pension funds, similarly, electricity companies, similarly, PSUs. The recent development in corporate governance is stewardship code. You know, the word steward means one who steers. You know, this comes from, say, the airline industries. In the aircraft, we have a steward. In the hotel industry, we have a steward. So the mutual funds, private equity funds, financial institutions who put a reasonable size of money in a company, it is their duty to see that corporate governance in that enterprise where the investment is made is evaluated. Because what happens, the individual shareholders, individual investors has a very limited voice because of the small amount of investment. And then in the Companies Act 1956, there were provisions for corporate governance like audit committee, risk committee, but Companies Act 2013, which came from 1st April 2014, and I was fortunate enough to be a part of JJ Irani committee, which gave the bill, the report, which laid the foundation for Companies Act 2013. So in Companies Act, you know, there is a section like section 447, fraud, and where each person, including an auditor, if they are responsible for the fraud, then they have to give 3 times the amount plus the loss. Then there are provisions for corporate social responsibility, CSR, under section 135. There are very elaborate provisions for the board of directors report. There are provisions for audit committee under section 177. So for each company, there is a good amount of corporate governance. Then the Department of Public Enterprises also has come out with a corporate governance framework. SEBI has come out for the mutual funds. The Reserve Bank has come out for the cooperative banks and other banks. So there is a great amount of work. You know, many of us chartered accountants look corporate governance as a, you know, an opportunity of becoming an independent director. I have been in the independent director of few mutual fund, large companies. Independent director is a service to the society because it has a duty cast upon to be a watchdog, be a contributor in a board of directors. Independent director is, for me, I do not take this as an opportunity. What is an opportunity is making internal control framework, making risk management framework, making code of corporate governance, making internal audit charter, evaluating the effectiveness of the board of directors, evaluating the effectiveness of the internal audit department, making whistleblower policy, and there are n numbers of duties like, under LODR and corporate governance. There should be a code of conduct for board of directors and one level below the board. So all these areas requires professional expertise. And another thing, this corporate governance is a global area of practice. And we chartered accountant get empaneled, like Department of Public Enterprises maintains the list of eligible individuals who can be director in public sector enterprises. Similarly, the Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, they have a panel of eligible individuals and they maintain a database for independent directors. There are many other organizations like Institute of Directors. There are organizations at international level. And in another video, I have spoken about how to become a global practitioner by use of social media. So our presence as an expert comes through use of social media, writing the books, speaking on the subject, writing articles, giving comment in the newspaper in form of an article. So things like that plays a very big role in exposing a professional in the field of any area, and particularly in the corporate governance area. Please do subscribe my YouTube channel and do give your comment on this video, and do let me know on what topic you want my more video. Thank you.